Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing a garden update with you. I'm bringing you along as I share what's been going on in the past week. So here I'm just sharing a little bit about my fruit tree. This is a nectarine tree that I got some fruit on already. And here is our plum tree. So our fruit trees are starting to get fruit on them, as you can see, and they're a good size. We do have significantly less fruit this year. Last year we had a ton of fruit. So I don't know what's causing that, but we still do have a lot of fruit. We were kind of concerned about this fig tree because we hadn't seen any figs, but as you can see, there's tiny little nubs, and those are the figs coming through. So we are getting figs on this tree, and the other fig tree we have is already, having some pretty big figs. So that one is doing great, and that's why we were concerned, because this one tree had a lot of figs, big ones, and the other one hardly had any. Here's the one that hardly had any. It has little tiny nubs, and that's where you can see that they're going to be figs. So we just have to give them some time and some patience and some love. So that is what that fig tree looks like. Do y'all have any fruit trees? Comment down below. The other exciting thing is our rose bushes. So roses are something that I really love, and I am starting to see that the buds are coming through, and we actually have a flower this morning. So I love to have flowers from my rose bushes, especially for my baths and just to smell them. They're just so nice. I put out my hummingbird feeder and my bird feeder this week. I filled them up, and I haven't seen any hummingbirds, but I'm hopeful that they will be coming to visit soon. Here are my zinnias. They're the seeds that I had planted, and they are still growing. They're still doing good, but I was expecting a little bit more, but they are still quite small, so we'll see how long it takes for them to come through. Okay, so let's get to the garden and what we're really looking at here. The garden has really taken off since the last video that I posted. The last video that I posted almost looked like a desert, but you can see that our squash plants are really big now, and so they have grown, and those taller ones are actually sunflowers. Those have really taken off. Our radishes are doing really good. We are still struggling with quite a few challenges that I'll share here with you. It's been kind of a tough season. I would say this is the hardest season that we've ever had with our garden. We've been planting gardens for about 10 years, and so this has definitely been the toughest one, and we have to kind of troubleshoot different things. So I'm getting up close here to the squash plant so that you can see the little squash plants have already little squash at the bottom. I'll kind of walk around and show you a little bit closer, but yeah, they are doing pretty good. I do anticipate to get some squash. We were kind of concerned. We usually have a lot more squash plants than this, but as you know, we have had our struggles this year, but we're still going to get quite a bit, I believe. So this is the yellow squash. You can see the little baby yellow squash coming through there. There's quite a lot there. And so there's more of those plants down the row. I'll kind of just show you a few of them that are kind of sticking out to me. We actually had another freeze, which is crazy. We just had another freeze last week, and so that affected our plants as well. And Lucy, our little dog, is running around. She's affecting it as well. I love seeing all those little yellow squash. Aren't they cute? So yeah, we have still had quite a bit of issues happening, like you can see next to that row, and I'll show you a little bit closer in a minute. Those are the green beans. They actually got some freezer, kind of like a little bit of freezer damage on their leaves, and so did the cucumbers. Where you see the white on the tips and the edges, that is because they got burned by the freeze. And so that kind of affected them. Usually we're already harvesting cucumbers by this time of year, so that has been a challenge. We'll see how our cucumbers really do when we give it a little more time. Here's a little bit further back view. I took some different video shots of the garden throughout. I've been doing some weeding. We get a ton of weeds, so I have to kind of go in there manually and pull them out, and that's what I do. But I'm not the best at taking weeds out. Not that I don't know how, but I don't have the time to. I have a lot of other things that I work on. I'm actually working on another property and its garden, so it's kind of hard to keep up with it. So we usually let the weeds grow, but we kind of pick them here and there, and that's kind of what I'm doing this year. I'm doing a little bit more because of all of the challenges that we've been having. I don't feel that the plants are as strong. But here, everything is a lot stronger in this section. These are the tomatoes and the peppers. So my little dog is running around in the back there. That's Lucy. Our tomatoes have really taken off. They've taken off so much so that they are like coming out of their cages, which is crazy. But anyhow, our peppers are already, having the little flowers, and we can already see like quite a few peppers. I think I counted about 8 peppers. They're about the size of like a quarter. And these are our tomato plants. If you can hear my cat in the background, I'm doing a voiceover and my cat is meowing. But anyhow, those are the tomatoes, and I'm hopeful that maybe in like a few more days we'll be able to have green tomatoes. These are like the cherry tomatoes. There's lots of them. You can see them all over the place. So I think those will also be ready in a few days. And our peppers will take a little bit longer, but as you can see, they're getting pretty big, a little bit larger than a quarter, but those are the peppers. So this section's doing really good. And so this is what the garden looks like kind of from a little bit higher up view. As you can see, they're hanging in there, but there's not as many plants as last year. If you've tuned into my channel last year, if you want to go look at that video from last year, you can kind of compare. But I am still happy that we still have a garden and we still have, some plants. Another challenge that we really encountered this week was another little pest. Last week I talked about like a mole or something that was going underground. Well, now we have rabbits. They're really beautiful, big, kind of white-tailed rabbits. And so we caught 2, but there's still one more running around that I saw the other day. So that rabbit is actually biting and kind of eating off some of the tops of our plants. So that is a little bit concerning that we have these rabbits. We always have rabbits, but I feel like we just had like a lot more, and they were just really in the garden. We literally caught them in the garden. So they had no shame. They were right there where we were and just eating away on some of the leaves of our plants. So I don't know where y'all live. Do y'all have any problems with rabbits? And how do y'all handle any issues that you may have with rabbits? Let me know down in the comment section, because I haven't really had a lot of problems with rabbits, but I think that this year might be an issue. Like I said, I've already seen 3 total, and they were just blatantly eating out of the garden. So we have harvested some radishes, and we've been having those in our salads. Radishes are doing well. So these tomatoes, I'm hopeful, will be the next thing that we add to our salads, and that'll be really good to add. So back in the back of the garden, we do have like some snow peas and some other things back there. Those are still there, and they're actually growing okay. I'll take you back there in just a moment and show you what it looks like. What else is in our garden? We have okra. Okra is not doing well. We actually had planted okra plants. The freeze really got to the okra plants, and so that's been kind of hard. The other thing we have is onions, and they're doing okay. We did lose about half of them, and we lost those with a flood, but they're doing okay, the ones that we do have. Here are the snow peas. We were concerned that they weren't going to make it. Also, I was concerned about the rabbits, because the rabbits like to hang out in the back here, but they're doing okay. They're just growing along, so hopefully we'll have some nice snow peas to add to our salad. We also like to make Asian snap peas, so that'll be really yummy soon. What kind of recipes do y'all like to make with your fresh vegetables? Comment down below. So here are the radishes. We have already harvested quite a few, so we actually went back and replanted some. Here you can see a little bit closer up, you can see the tops coming through. They're really good when they're small. They're just a little bit spicy with some good flavor, and they're really good when they're really cold. So that's how we like to have our radishes. We've even done weird things like boiling radishes. So yeah, we like our radishes here. You can see on this plant, I think this is a sunflower, that something's been eating on it. We don't have very much of that, but we did find that one had something like little holes where something was eating on it. And here's some more radishes. I like to look at the tops coming through and that beautiful color. So the sunflowers, I'm not sure what kind of sunflowers these are. We actually got these as a gift at a show we went to. I always usually plant the mammoth sunflowers, which are like, I don't know, 8 feet tall. They're huge. but I don't think that these are those, but they're still, quite tall. So it'll be cool to see them when they bloom. So hopefully we'll get to see that here soon. But yeah, I do have quite a bit of mammoth sunflower seeds. I'm just not sure where else I can plant them. So Lucy, my little puppy, is new to us and she's new to the garden. She does like to go and explore in the garden, which I don't really like her being in there. So we're kind of training her not to. And she also likes to kind of bite a little bit of the plants. So we are really trying to keep her out. The other problem we have is ants. I don't know where y'all live, but in East Texas, we have a ton of ants right now. And we go around and we pour poison on top of them and then they just sprout up again somewhere else. So we're having some trouble with ants here, and it's just been one problem after another this year. But you can see that, we're just trying to hang on, trying to troubleshoot our garden. And I think overall we will harvest quite a bit this year. But by this time last year, we were already harvesting big bountifuls of baskets and of all kind of vegetables. So we're quite behind. Another reason for that was we kept having freezes. So we got planted and we did our garden, like the initial setup of it, quite late. So that's another reason we're not at the same place last year. As you can see, there's lots of weeds and grass that pop up like overnight. So I have to constantly stay on top of weeding this garden. I think I weed, usually about 2 or 3 rows per day. And then that's what I do. Usually I'll be on the phone or listening to something in my headphones and I'll just kind of pull weeds. And usually I'll try to get like 2 rows done, maybe 3. And then do the same thing over again and rotate it again because they really do sprout up quite quickly. Most of it's like grass and little tiny weeds. So they like to grow really close to like the squash plants, and that can affect our squash plants. So we have to make sure to get them out. So that's a big issue, is the weeds. One of the ones that I haven't been able to weed very much is the green beans. So I'm going to have to get to the green beans soon so that they don't get affected. But as you can see, all of these weeds have sprouted up overnight. So I just have to keep staying on top of them. And so the green beans are the same way. They have a ton of weeds. So yeah, I go in there and I kind of clean it up. We also kind of rototill the rows a little bit to keep the weeds down there as well. So we do everything that we can to keep the weeds down kind of in an organic way. We don't use any pesticides or anything like that. We just hand pick weeds. So those are the cucumbers. Those are the ones I'm really concerned about. I don't really see that they are progressing that quickly. So I'm really concerned about the cucumbers. They're one of my favorites, so I hope that they do make it through. The okra is another one that is really, really struggling. So those 2 rows are right there together. They really got affected by the freeze, and you can hardly even see them. They really haven't grown much. And they were ones that we actually planted as plants. So they should be a whole lot bigger than that. So the radishes are doing good, like I said. Those always seem to do good. Here's the rows a little bit later on. That's what they look like. So I don't know how y'all are doing in your garden. Comment down below. Let me know how your garden is doing. I will be doing weekly updates on my garden. So check back and see the progress of what is going on here at my garden. I'm hopeful to harvest my tomatoes next and have a yummy salad with them. But comment down below, what are you harvesting? The other thing I might be able to get is yellow squash, because you saw on there, my yellow squash is already starting to come in. So I love yellow squash. I'm not sure if I have a yellow squash recipe on my website or on my YouTube, but I will definitely add one if I haven't. It is one of my favorite things to have in the summer. So yeah, that's my 2025 garden so far. I will check back with you next time, and I'll bring you little updates of my fruit trees as well. Thanks so much for watching. Have a wonderful day.